Hi, welcome to Tyne Valley Motorhomes. I'm Callum and this is the handover of the Elddis Autoquest 195. So coming on the passenger side, you've got your wastewater outlet, which is the grey one here. So this is anything that you've put down a plug hole, goes into a separate holding tank, and on the way out of your site, or if you're not on a super site, you just simply open and drain out, as you wouldn't want to be driving around with wastewater on board. Especially in the winter, you want to drain this off. You want to eliminate any water in the motorhome so that it doesn't freeze and crack any tanks and cause any damage. And then here you've got your cassette loo. So all your lockers open with the tri-mark key. And you push the buttons in. And then to release the cassette, lift the handle and slide the cassette free of the vehicle. And then you either carry it or wheel it to your waste disposal site, which is normally beside your toilet block, and they're empty. Take the cap off, press the button, tip out. Once you've tipped it out, rinse it out, and then you can then fill this with the green or the blue liquid, a cap full straight into the cassette, and it's good to go back into the motorhome to be used. Further back behind the wheel, you've got your exhaust for your water heater and your space heater on gas and electric. Your freshwater intake, so go and buy yourself a hose pipe with some hose pipe connections. Use the round headed key, so one does your habitation door, one does this. When it's turning its lock, turn the key so you can push it in and twist and get a grip of it. Put the hose pipe in there until it overflows, or until you're happy you've got enough water on board, which you can see on the main control panel on board. And then to empty it, it's as simple as the grey one at the front, but this is blue, so you just turn this and drain it off. Again, in the winter you want to eliminate any water, so if you're not using the vehicle, don't leave it standing with water, drain it down. Or if you've taken on contaminated water, or you're simply not using it for a couple of weeks, drain your water off. Got some storage at the back here. Your boiler's in the back, but I'll show you that from inside, where your winterized drain down tap is. And then at the back of the vehicle, you've got your pilot, your brake light, your reverse camera, your bike rack. So wheels through here, tie the wheels down to the rails, and then these through your crossbars. Tow bar on the bottom with 13-pin electrics. And then as we walk down the driver's side, you've got the LPG, so liquid petroleum gas. This is your gas locker, and you can fit 2 bottles in here. Tie your bottles in, and then for your pigtail to go onto the bottle, it's a left-hand thread, so opposite threads with it being gas, and then turn on and off from the top of the bottle. Always turn it off before you start traveling, and you do have space for a spare 6 as well. And then coming further down, you've got your leisure battery, your hookup point, so to hook the vehicle up, lift the end off the hookup lead, as this one's been smashed, but lift the end up off the hookup lead. There's a brand new one in the vehicle for you, and then just hook the vehicle first, then the power source, and do it in reverse order when unhooking. And there's an outlet for a mains plug at the bottom, so you can power anything item outside the vehicle in the awning there. Got your fridge vents, your microwave vents, your awning lights, your awning, which will show you on the day. It's a bit windy now to pull that out. And then you do have, using the main ignition key, you can fill with diesel, and you've got AdBlue. So the AdBlue is a 19-litre tank because it's a new diesel engine. When it takes, it'll do 5,000 miles off one full tank of AdBlue. Once the light comes on, between the temperature gauge and the fuel gauge, simply top it up, buy it on the pumps. It's cheaper than buying it in the barrels. and top it up as soon as the light comes on, because failing to do so will mean the engine won't start. And then you do have your tyre sizes, so 5 bar on the front, which is 72.3 psi, and 5.5 bar on the back, which is 79.5 psi. Toolkit underneath the seat, which includes a jackknip brace and a tow and eye, and then you do have your bonnet release. Car batteries underneath the floor, underneath the mat in the compartment, so if you've ever got to change that, you've got to get underneath the floor of the cab. And then you've got all your fluids to your left hand side, so screen wash, this lifts off, power steering fluid, coolant, brake fluid, engine oil, dipstick for checking your levels, your paint code sticker here, your earth, and then you can pop that in, lift this behind the passenger headlight, and then you've got a positive for giving or receiving a jump start. And your weight plate here, so 3.5 ton gross vehicle weight with a tow bar. You can tow 2 ton behind the vehicle, meaning you can't go over 5.5 ton. So now in the kitchen you do have your 3 burner gas rings. So using the ignition on the front of the oven, you'll be able to pull the gas through, and you've got 3 gas rings. And then underneath you've got a grill pan. You may want to take this out when on the road or wrap it up, because it can rattle a little bit. You've got your grill pan and your grill, and then below you've got your oven and your 2 oven shelves. Underneath your oven you do have red isolation gas taps. These are mainly for when the vehicle is annually habitation serviced. The gas will be tested. You've got storage under there. Storage drawers. So you just need an inset for your cutlery tray. And then above, microwave is on mains only, so it'll not work off 12 volt. 800 watt, press eco to wake, and then you can press and do your 30-minute intervals on your microwave, or 30 seconds even. Plates, holder, cup holders, wine glasses, a wine bottle holder, and your plug for your microwave. And then operate your fridge. So your fridge is a 3-way fridge, with it being a Dometic fridge. So it's off on the top, go down 1 to the plug, which is hook up, which you'd use if you are pre-chilling it at home or you are on a site. As you've paid your site fees, you'll not want to waste your gas. But once you have pre-chilled and put the shopping in the night before and that's all cold and you're ready to move, you'd go down to the battery, which is the next one, which when the engine is on, you'll get a feed from the engine alternator, and then this will just keep it as a cool box. And then when you arrive back on site, you can either go back to electric or all the way down to gas. This is your temperature knob here, so push that in with the spark igniter, and look here, orange bar needs to go into green before you release, like so. Then you can release, and as you can see there, that is lit on gas because it is in the green. Once you've finished using your fridge and you're packing the van up for the year, or you're packing it up for a couple of weeks, take everything out, give it a clean out, and then the last thing you want to do is shut the door, because it forms an airtight seal. So, and mold and bacteria will start to grow. To stop that from happening, on the light there's a little tab, push the 2 toggles out, and then you can get air circulation in and out of the fridge freezer. So to assemble this seat, so there's 2 seats on either side, fold up ones. So take the cushions off, then lift the seat up. Then what you want to do is you want to lift this up higher and push this button in and lie it down. So fold that down, and then you do have a seat. So this is just a bag to protect the seat. There's your all and winding handle down there, and your rafter bars up above the cab. And then to assemble the seat, just 2 levers. So backrest first, then pull the whole thing up, and then you just 2 lugs there, put the seat on, and there you do have a seat for an extra rear passenger, and you've got them both sides, so it is a 4-berth 4-belted van. And then just fold that down, fold the seat back down, put the bag on, and there you do have your extra rear travelling seat. In the washroom you've got your combined wet room, so toilet. To operate your toilet, make sure the pump's on, and you'll be able to press the blue button at the top, which will bring the fresh water flush. So we always recommend to flush the toilet first, which lubricates the seal between the blade and the cassette. And then what you want to do is, using the grey handle, slide this to the right, and it'll open the blade and everything will go into the cassette. Then what you want to do is obviously use the toilet, flush after use, and then get into the habit of closing the blade once you've finished. So slide that back to the left. Do it in this order because it keeps the seal nice and lubricated, and it stops any liquids from seeping around the cassette and flooding your cassette locker. And then you've got a little diagram on the back here, so this will tell you when the cassette is full by a light, which means when the blade's closed, which if you're doing that routine, you'll be able to get it out the outside of the van. If you've left it open, the cassette just simply won't move, and you'll know what you've done. You need to slide the blade along, which is a grey lever. Good shower curtain, toiletry cabinet. Remove your shower head from your shower hose and allow the hose to lie in the tray with all the mixer tabs open when winterising the vehicle, to eliminate any water in any pipes behind the van, and obviously this pipe here. Push plug on the sink. See, this is showing that your water pump's working because you're getting pressurised water, and that water is getting up the temperature. As you can see, the steam coming off the water there, so that's lovely hot water. In the wardrobe next to the washroom you do have your freestanding table, so you can put that at the front, at the back, take it outside if it's a nice day, and you've got 2 hanging rails and a coat hook on both sides, or should I say 2. And then with the aerial, when you start travelling, you always want to make sure that the stem is pulled into the vehicle. But then if you're struggling to get a signal, what you can do is release the nut, push the stem up, and then use the little black collar here to twist the aerial on the roof, as it's a directional aerial. But look where other motorhomes and caravans are pointing on your sight. But always remember, before travelling, pull it in, tighten the nut, and this will stop any wind from getting underneath the aerial and ripping it off the vehicle. And then on the back you've got a booster here, so you can boost and weaken the signal on the amplifier should it be too strong or too weak. So like I was saying, from outside, underneath your bench seat at the back on the driver's side is the location of your hot water system. So as it's a wheel underslung system for your hot water, you've got this little red button here, which is a reset button. So if the control panel ever failed and you couldn't get rid of the exclamation mark by resetting it on the panel, you can press this button here and it'll reset it. But at the back you do have a yellow tap. The yellow tap is very important. It's the drain down tap. So in the winter when not using it, you want to drain it down, especially this, because it's very expensive. And then obviously open all the taps, drain off outside the fresh and the waste. So all you need to do is come in with no power on, no pump, slide it to the front. That'll then start dropping 10 litres of water directly out underneath the chassis. Leave that pointing to the front of the cab during the time you're not using the vehicle, and then when you're ready to reuse it again, shut it so it's pointing across, shut the fresh and the waste outside, shut all the taps, fill the vehicle with the hose pipe via the inlet for the fresh water, which is on the driver's side by the rear wheel. Then put the pump on, go to the cold side of the tap first and bleed the water through. It'll get automatic pressure on the cold and then slowly start making your way around to the hot, and it'll cough, sputter, make all sorts of noises until you get a free flow of water from the hot side. So give it a couple of minutes to pressurize the water through, because at first you'll get no water through. and then once you've got it on one tap, do them all, and then the system is primed. But always remember to drain off the system, because it isn't covered under warranty and it's very expensive to replace or repair. To make your rear lounge into a bed, slide this out here all the way until you get to these two bump stops. Then you need to lift it off and push it up to the other side, and then all you need to do is use the backrests into here. So it's quite a tight squeeze, but that's what you want because you don't want it to move during the night. And there you have a double bed across the width of the vehicle with the two backrests from either side. And then to make the front bed, you do exactly the same with the backrests, but you just lift and slide these either side, meet them in the middle, and then backrest in there, and they create the additional double bed at the front of the vehicle.